This week we spoke with Cuban trumpet virtuoso Miguelito Valdes. Miguelito made it to the top in the Latin music scene in Cuba and went on to tour with the Buena Vista Social Club all over the world. Listen on to hear his fascinating story, beginning with his early music education.
We got the chance to start when we're young. The schools start for example, we go to like long careers, the violin or fiddle, whatever you want to call it, all the strings or piano, the long careers. So you start when you're in third grade.
Oh, wow.
Like a little audition, to see your physical conditions, if you got fingers for it, or you know what I mean. They try you, and then you have to do a test, musical test too.
Oh, really?
Some intonation, you repeat whatever in the piano, you realize which one is higher, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Higher, lower. So you do like
This is in your public school, like in grade 3, then they'll kind of take you aside.
Well, they're not looking for you. You have to look for the school.
Okay.
So what is it? If you have the interest to be a musician, then your parents have to take you to this. Let's say in Havana, we got like 3 or 4 schools like that in different municipalities. Mm-hmm. So you can go through that. Depends which one is closer to you. Hopefully works. If it's not, you have to go to somewhere else. Whatever. But yeah, you do this test. If you pass, and they think that you are, so it's a competition actually. It's an audition. So it's a lot of people getting in there. So, wow. And then that school, which will be your, let's say, elementary and middle school, then you pass to more like a college kind of thing. That's what I did. Like, so I did the elementary school, but in my case, because it's trumpet, clarinet, all the other instruments will be like a shorter career. So we started in grade 6. Mm-hmm. You do that test in grade 6, and they say, okay, depends what they have for the school too. In my case, I really wanted to be a percussionist, but they didn't have enough. Actually, they didn't have at all. They didn't have percussion in that music school. They have it was a hybrid of plastic arts, like painting and all that.
Sure.
Some ballet or dance, and some in the same school, right? All combined over there. So in my case, they only have like clarinet, guitar, like choir, vocal director, trumpet, but no percussion. So, man, it was crazy. So I said, okay, let's say I'm gonna grab the trumpet for now, and then when I move to the next school or something, the next level, I switch to percussion. Right? It never happened. It never happened. I stay with the trumpet all life. But that was my initial. I started younger than that with the all kids band. It was kind of like a special program an older lady has for like a small group of kids playing music together. So I started like 2 years before getting to school. I started with that group just to sing, play a little bit of everything, a little bit of drums, a little bit of piano. But then I got this audition with the school, so I started to play the trumpet officially in the school. And you do trumpet lessons like almost every day. It's not like and also all the different I find without saying that it's bad or good. That's the difference. I'm just saying it's different. When people show up at the lessons, if you're not good, you'll be in trouble. You know what I mean? If you don't do it better. And sometimes people, I find in countries like Canada, for example, where we are, that people pay for the lesson. I used to teach a little bit in Lora McQuaid. And the first time, it was for me a little like confusing, right? Because the guy is paying money to go and take a lesson with me. But then I tell him, okay, go practice this. And then they go home and they come back the next week, pay me money again, but work at the week that they came before. Like, what are you doing, man? You're wasting. You know what I mean? Like, exactly. And I could not say like, okay, go home. Forget about it. That's what the teachers would say to you in Cuba.
Really?
Yeah, go home, practice. You come back when you're ready, or bring your parents next time. It's really strict.
Wow.
Really strict. So you need to be. You need to practice. You need to be getting better. They really force you. Yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of like the actual music that you were hearing at that time, I guess, was your musical influence wholly just the local stuff that you were hearing, or were you hearing stuff coming from America on the radio or from South America, things like that, or was it just pretty much like Cuban music?
No, it was pretty like a global kind of thing. There were not much like North American music because of the communism or whatever, socialism, whatever.
Yeah.
At some point before my times, it was even prohibited to do it. Like Beatles, the Beatles times and all that. It was in Cuba was not possible to hear that. You had to do it like on the ground kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was opening a little bit. We knew Michael Jackson. We knew the big stuff, only the bigger stuff. The one that traveled all over the world. That's from North America. But we got a lot of relation with the South American countries, for example, Brazil or any other countries. I mean, we were open to that, and of course, music was there too. Especially when we get to school, our training in school was at all Cuban, not at all, nothing Cuban, nothing like Latin. It's all classical training.
Oh wow!
So we started with the Russian method, and we do like do re mi fa sol la si do, that kind of thing. And the Russian school, basically, solfege and all that.
Wow.
But the influence was mostly the Cuban music, of course. That's what we got. Poor people, man. We don't have the equipment that, for example, we have here. The internet wasn't around.
Yeah.
And also have only like the radio, basically. In my house, I didn't have the money. The family didn't have the money to buy like a tape recorder or something.
And at the school, so if you're studying all classical, but in terms of ensembles outside of school, I guess you're playing more sort of Cuban and Latin influenced music there.
That's the only way you couldn't learn the Latin music. Yeah, going outside.
And so, how did you kind of get more into? Because when we were talking over the email, you said you're primarily like a Latin music there, right? And so, getting more into that, how did that sort of transition occur from sort of more classical stuff in your school to, playing in sort of Latin ensembles?
That's good. Yeah. Well, some guys they love to do the classical stuff. If they want to do that, of course, they focus more at school, and get it done there because that's the way they're training you there. In my case, a little lazy with that. Passed over the years. No, I passed. I had to practice the classical stuff, but I wasn't a fan of it. Yeah. So to get my certificate, I got to finish that. But then I was always like going to that route, play the commercial way, playing the Latin stuff. So at a young age, I told you already, like I was playing with this kids band, but it was already playing Latin music too, right? So I kept doing that with them. And then after that, I was probably like 17 or 18 years old when I started playing professional. Still kind of like the last year of the school, like the college, that I just what I did. Because it was more like classical training. So I didn't need that. I didn't want that. So I went to the school outside, the street school. So I started playing with some professional bands already when I was 17 or 18. And I started with what I wanted to call our roots kind of thing. It was like a septet. So it's only like a guitar, a tres guitar. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it.
No.
It's the kind of a guitar with only like 6 strings, but they got pairs, like 3 pairs.
Oh, I see.
And those 2 are in an octave, like the same note, but 2 different octaves. So, and when you play, it sounds like a major chord. That could be like, I don't know, G, B, E, or something like that, or D, F, A, F sharp, of course, like a D major chord or whatever. So, and then you're playing like those 2, so like a piano. You basically do like a piano work in this kind of ensemble. So it's not piano, so it's 2 guitars, like guitar, tres guitar, upper bass, bongos, and trumpet. The rest is just maracas, claves. So this is the band that you can see everywhere in Old Havana. All the little pops, all the little, sometimes they change the trumpet for a flute or a sax, whatever, but that's basically it. And I started playing that. That gave me the possibility to start improvising at a young age.
Yeah.
Forced me, because it's only you. So you do everything. You start the intro, you are the melody, and you are doing the accompanying when the lyrics are going, and then you improvise, then you do the mambos, you do everything basically. Yeah. And when you're working with singers, lots of them, and guitar players, they use this thing, I can't remember how it's called, to play in different keys. They just move it and then play this. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I can't remember, but
I forget what it's called, but
fine, Sehilla. So they move it. They put it in a different place, and then they just play the same chords, but sounds like three tones up or something like that. So
the capital, right? I think that's what it's called.
Yeah. Something. So they play like F major, all those weird keys for the trumpet. You know what I mean? Like G or A flat minor or things like that. Crazy. So you have to. Oh my God! So give me the chance to actually improvising all these weird keys and learn how to survive, and then it's really important. I see as a musician, like some people don't realize, but if you really want to be an improviser, you need to start earlier. And do it for a long time, so you feel confident when you go somewhere and you want to do it. You're not afraid to. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna look good or bad or whatever. You know what I mean? You just pose yourself as a kid. With people will say, "Oh, it's doing okay. Yeah, keep working." You know what I mean? It's not the same as you are 30 years old and you show up like doing a couple of notes and like, what are you doing? What? Exactly. So,
did that come?
Oh, sorry, you go, Marvin.
Did that come easily to you, the improvising, or was it sort of a long process that you became acquainted with all the different keys and sort of maneuvering over that? Or
I think it was easy for me, man. I got that impression myself of musicians. Some musicians are born with this. Some other learn how to do this.
Right.
Yeah.
And in a way, I think I noticed. I'm not saying that I'm special or anything, but maybe you guys do. Like, it's easy to notice when some people do it, like learn because they learn how to do it, and some people do it because they just do it.
Yeah.
But they became better, of course, when they do it more and more and more and more. But for some people, it's easier. It's easier to create melody, create stuff in their mind. That's something I have in a favor, my own favor. But sometimes it's tricky because I avoid a little bit the method, how to learn scales or chords and things like that. And that is good when you want to play with a lot of feelings, But then when you need to play something more complicated, like something like giant steps or something weird. You need to know a little better. I mean, your ear would go better, but maybe not the right place. You know what I mean? So it's good to know a little bit of both. But I find it better when a guy can improvise by heart, and just doing whatever he feels. That learning, it sounds a little bit more like the guy learning just the scales and try to play again without nobody telling me. I start playing with my ears. So a bunch of my buddies and myself, we play around, hear some sounds and trying to reproduce the sounds right away in the instrument. It could be a bird singing or a clapson, like a car. Oh, what was that? Oh, try to find it right away. Yeah, and that helps us because every time then you hear a chord, you hear a couple of notes at least from that chord. It's the same of transposing, like writing down the solos from.
Right. Yeah, that connection with sort of learning it early, I think, makes a lot of sense because in a way it's like learning a language, right? And so the younger you learn it, the more kind of natural it feels. Then it's almost like first language versus second language in a way. When you come at it more from a theoretical point of view, I feel, you can really hear it when someone's been ensconced in that from a very young age. There's something different about it. Yeah,
that's true, man. That's true. And also, what I say, I mean, you feel more confident to go on and play, no problem.
True.
But to do it, it's not magic. It's not like even if you have it in you, if you don't do it and get better.
You got to work on it.
Yeah, you got to work on it. It's also like a bank of scenes that you have in your head, right? It's like a hard drive you have with a lot of there. And then when you provide, like you're creating that long phrase right there. No, all that is in there, and it's just connecting stuff. Sounds like a big phrase or long phrase, but it's all stuff that you have in your mind, right?
Yeah.
Just combining sounds and going. Yeah.
And in terms of, so just going back to that group, you said you were playing in coming out of, or I guess in your last couple of years of the college. Would you guys play in like clubs in Cuba or just, busking on the street? What kind of settings were you guys playing in?
Yeah, no. In my case, it was a little more like playing concerts, and we did a little bit of hotels,
Okay.
tourist people, because it's kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this was before the Buena Vista Social Club became even famous. But the Cuban music has been always like that, in Europe, all over America, whatever. The people, the small bands have been traveling. Then the Buena Vista came and it was a boom. It was something like
Yeah.
that. But the idea of having traditional bands playing around town was always there. So my first jobs were like that, like just playing in a old Havana, that kind of tourist place in a hotel. I did that for like I don't know 2-3 times a week or something like that. Yeah, pretty amazing. I mean, I got a lot of stories like in a monetary, I don't say like an economic way to put it there, right? Like it was like for having nothing to have a little bit of money, when you work there, and also finding a way to survive. But um, yeah, it is tough there. It's not like you're making a lot of money, but you're surviving with the tips and stuff like that. I remember in that case, we used to get like a bottle of rum, like a nice bottle of rum for the band every day.
Yeah.
Well, what we did instead of drinking that rum, we just sell it. Yeah, and then we're making money, so that every time one guy would get like $5, like dollars, I'm talking about, which more than what we were making for a month.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if I mean, we get some money paid by the agency, but it was only like $5 or something like that a month. So every time we bottle, we would get the same, you know what I mean? So it was like a bonus kind of thing. And then we just go and buy a cheaper bottle of rum made at home. We're still drinking, it's
Exactly.
not
Way to do it.
No, yeah, we just find a way to survive. I remember it was good for my family. I still in Cuba, we still live with our parents for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
It's the market of buying places or selling is not as it is somewhere else.
Yeah.
So you live basically with your parents forever. It's the same house. The family house is forever. One if you have one, and then you get married. Your wife move with you, or you move with your wife. But you live in somebody else's house. You know what I mean? So bringing this money to my family was good. It was great. And it felt good for me too.
Mm-hmm.
At school, with my friends, when we were studying, I also learned how to do a little bit of jazz. And the way probably you have a question for that, but I was just going to talk about it. Sometimes we get together and we pass along these cassettes. Hey, listen to Fred Hobart, or listen to, Arturo Sandoval, or listen to, whatever, whoever we could find. We're kind of like passing the same cassette with a lot of careful,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because you guys probably you didn't leave the time for cassettes.
No.
We're not around when that happened,
No.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. So I remember the first solo I transcribed myself. I got into that pretty early too. And I asked my neighbor to give me the tape recorder for a couple of hours. So I played it, and it was a band from Cuba, close to the Irakere band, Chucho Valdes. Yeah. Same idea. But actually, were like 3 or 4 of the guys that used to play with him that were in this other band called NG La Banda. Crazy band with a lot of brass and stuff like that. So it was a trumpet player, like I really like his playing. And he got a flugelhorn solo. That was my first solo, man. It took me a bit. When I transcribed it, I didn't put the rhythm. I just put the notes on the stuff because I knew the solo by memory, right? So I just put the notes just to make sure. Note the notes like a little, just ahead, and then I just played on top. And that was the first one. And then from there, one of my favorites recordings all times is the Freddie Howard with Woody Shaw.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those are amazing. That was, the one with Sandu.
Yeah, it's funny. I was just listening to that the other day, actually, when my buddy sent it to me.
Yeah, one of the best. Always. So I actually did also some transcribing from that. But we got that also, and then the Cuban music was like an everyday kind of thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, after that, I got the chance to play with many things, you know. But that's another story. Maybe I'll let you guys,
Sure.
let you guys do another question.
That period of time where you're kind of like scrambling about selling rum bottles to
Yeah.
kind of keep it together and stay afloat. How long was that? And then what kind of led the transition to maybe making it over here to North America? And
Sure.
yeah.
That you know, we probably need a couple of these interviews if I go in detail to do that, because I'm talking about when I was 17 or 18, and then I would say unfortunately because it's not fun when you don't want to do it. I got in Cuba the military service is mandatory
Okay.
for every man. If you are healthy, you gotta go for 2 years. But in my case, I have to do it. I got no issues, you know, in my health or anything. So I did the military band, the band, sorry, the band, not the fan, the band. Military band for 2 years. But the thing is that it's not. I'm in the military band right now, but I'm getting paid, you know, like great money and I'm doing great. I'm playing with great musicians. It's not the case there. They only pay like 23 Cuban pesos a month, which is $1 a month,
Wow.
and you have to stay in barracks. They give you only the weekends, not all of them. If you be good or whatever, they give you a weekend to go home, or maybe once a week, 1 day a week, you go and visit your family. But you can imagine that after, you know, already been playing outside and all that. I even did a little tour to Venezuela before getting to this phase of my life. So from 1994 to 1996, I was doing the service. I mean, I can say there's always something good about things happening in your life. So I learned how to actually play a little bit of concert band stuff. When I was there, I was doing solos, you know. Also started to get better at doing all kind of solos. You know, it could be a big solo in front of the whole band, you know, or just a little improvising on top of some chorus or whatever. But it gave me the chance to explore and open a little more about music, of course. But I finished that, and then about maybe 6 months before finishing this military service, we are recording a CD for the government and with music of one of their composers. They're like famous guy. So they call Manuel Guajiro Mirabal. I don't know if it sounds the name for you, but he's the trumpet player on the movie of the Bueno Vista.
Oh, okay.
So they call this guy to reinforce the trumpet section.
Yeah.
As I said, not everybody was a good player. There were some people actually doing for 3 or 5 years in the military just to be able to get into the music business. Starting from zero, you show up in a band, they give you a trumpet or a clarinet, you don't know how to play, and you have next thing you're marching and playing. Forget about it. It was so. But anyway, so they called this guy to play with us. So I got the chance to meet the guy, man. He's unbelievable guy, you know, awesome, older guy, but super good as a person, as a player. He's a legend in Cuba. So I just asked him, "Hey, man, I would love to go and check it out." He was playing in Tropicana, which is a big nightclub in Havana with a big band. They travel all over the world, whatever, and he was doing that for many years already. On top of being in another business and playing with many people, you know. So he said, "Okay, let me see what I can do." And he recognized me from a little video clip that I was doing with the band that I used to be. You know, a little
Right.
talking about. Yeah, we did something for the TV, and then he recognized me. "Oh, you're the guy playing that tune, Cachita." "Oh, yeah. Okay. So he kind of liked what I did in that solo that I did in that tune. I said, "Okay, let me talk to the guys there or whatever." Next thing, the CEO of the band is saying, "Okay, if you want to go to Tropicana, then you're okay. Just let me know, and I give you the pass to go."
Wow.
So 6 months before finishing, I started to play in Tropicana, like supping, doing a sub. I remember the first night I showed up there, they asked me to sit down and play because one guy couldn't make it. It's like, "Oh my God, are you kidding me?" So I was just, it's a different world to be playing with the band that you know and you're just playing a lot of stuff by ear, you know, charts, but then you learn the charts and then you just play by ear and play every day. It's the same. But now you show up at a show with a lot of changes, you know, and rhythm, you know, like a signature and rhythm changes, you know. It's a show. It goes from something fast to and then go back to coda and then move here, you know, crazy. The charts were like 3 pages, 4 pages, you know, crazy. So it was like, oh my God, what is this? But of course, I didn't do so good that day. And then that I was playing, but what they gave me a chance to do a little solo, like improvising on top of some. So I did good on that. Okay, so they were like, oh, okay, he can do it, whatever. So they started to call me little by little as a sub, like for people. Two of my old time buddies, like it's been my friends, like my brothers, since then to today, we're still talking every day. We're there, and these are two other trumpet players that play with me in the Afro-Cuban All Stars many years after. Jaure Muniz, which is in Boston. He went to actually Berkeley after living there for a bit. And then the other guy lived in Curacao. It's one of the islands, Netherlands islands. Igor Rivas. So anyway, they were there already, but they also were playing with a lot of big bands like for dancing outside of Tropicana. So Tropicana was a regular job like every night. You only have like Monday night off. So that was every day was somebody getting another job or another call, so they call me to go and play. And I can tell you, if we keep talking about money, every time I go, they pay me $1.
Wow.
To stop. And that was the first year already, because I was only making like 23 Cuban pesos, which is also $1 for the whole month, and you know, inside the military. So every time I go, so I end up making sometimes 20 or $30, you know, like dollars a month. So that was amazing. So anyway, after being there, stopping those 6 months, the time comes that I was free to go, and then I started playing Tropicana. They do a contract for me, so I was one of the guys playing in Tropicana. So I did that job for 4 or 5 years after. And it was amazing because I got the chance to play with these amazing trumpet players and start traveling all over the world. That was the first time I went to England, and we actually played the Royal Albert Hall.
Wow.
It was unbelievable. It was the first time a Latin band played in there. The show, Tropicana. There's actually a DVD around there. They made actually a DVD. They're selling it. I was listening to one of the recordings on YouTube the other day, and it's me doing the solo. It's amazing. Pretty cool. I was a young guy, just 20 something, playing with 2 more guys that they were 50 something, 60 years old. Amazing trumpet players. So I learned a lot with these guys. You know, Alemany was there, another guy, and Manolo. We call it mascachicle, you know, like the gum sugar. Yeah. So that was amazing. A good time in my life. So I started playing there. I traveled a bit with them, and then from that occasion, then I got to the Buena Vista Social Club, because I was working there with Miguelito Valdes, which is a trumpet player from the movie, the documentary. And by the time Omara Portuondo, the old lady singer of the Buena Vista, she split from the band, so they had to create a band for her.
Yeah.
They asked this trumpet player, hey, who do you recommend for the job? And he already said right away, okay, Miguelito can do it. So, yeah. And it also was a great experience for me to get technically better playing the trumpet. When I was playing this band, the septet, I was not forced to do high notes or anything like it. So I was able to just hit a D or an E, like, you know, really tough. Man, playing with these people like every night, only watching them how they do it, and then start doing it myself. I ended up doing like double C's, and in a year or so, I was already, you know, getting the range and getting the power. So it was like a school. It was like a second school for me.
For the trumpet players that might be listening to this, I think they would be curious to hear, how do you go about extending your range more, and what kind of practices do you employ?
Yeah. You know,
that's advice or
no, it's okay, man. I'm not a technician. I'm not a technical guy. You know, I always play. But remember, I wanted to be a percussionist, so I always play the trumpet. I was just stuck with the trumpet. So I always did it. I never practiced that much. I was always choose to be more of the musical guy, you know, trying to fit the music more with whatever I could do. It's, you know, but it's really important. And I'm after many years doing that. I mean, after many years playing the trumpet, now I realize how many things could be done better to do that. But there's no secret. I mean, you need to play. You need to play like crazy. You need to play, and that was the school. I'm telling you, like Tropicana was crazy every day. We play every 2-3 hours every day. You know, and then you just start forcing yourself a little bit. A lot of people here, I find they're afraid to pass the line or cross the limit. And with the trumpet, it's like any sport. If you don't cross that limit, you're not gonna be able to. Let me see. I don't know. Let's say somebody want to grow up or grow, and they have to hang, you know, and put weight on your feet. So you gotta like go. It's kind of like that idea. So you have to press yourself to the limit and pass a little bit, and then that won't be the limit anymore. The limit will be moving a little bit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you push a little more. Now when you go back, your limit is a little over here. So you keep moving, and it's the same with the range. If you never do it, it's not going to happen. But of course, there's other things like air. Some people talk about the tongue position. Some people talk about the for the trumpet players, the power that you need to have in the muscles over here. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You need to these have the power over here too. Otherwise, the air is going to, if you go a lot of air pressure going, it will go everywhere instead of going in the proper place. There's many methods, many talks, many great professors out there. There's a lot of chances to get a good lesson now, man. It's not like in my time, it was just friends, you know, saying what to do. And it was a little tough. Like I got good teachers, but they never taught me exactly, you know. They taught me more or, you know, like sounds like a trumpet or how to hit the notes, like, you know, whatever. But all that kind of stuff, I just learned on the street, just going and doing it. I mean, how many times I break my lips in half over here? Like I got this scar, but but I see people here. Like I've been playing with many people, man. And sometimes they just go like, "Oh no, it's gonna break. Don't forget about it. I'm gonna stop." No, don't stop. Just break it. Go ahead and do it. Then tomorrow will be better. You know what I mean? Don't be afraid.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the way we did it. Yeah.
And so after the Bueno Vista Social Club, we looked up your bio, and there's you've played with just a list of incredible jazz musicians. And how did those sort of opportunities come about, and how did you get connected with all these people?
Before that in Cuba, also I did a lot of I did some of we call it like the dance bands kind of thing, like they're popular for the crowd to dance.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. Like a lot of music, but for that. So I did that too with a great band over there for a bit. And then after getting to the Buena Vista, I passed also with another great band. It was Havana Ensemble. And it's also like three of the guys from Miraquere, from Chucho Valdez, that they move out the band and they create this band. So I did a couple of tours with them. That was great. With the sax player Cesar Lopez, another guy Alfred Thompson, and so we did. We went to Brazil, Argentina. We did a little bit of touring of that. When I come back, then I got this job with the Buena Vista, and man, these guys were like, I don't know, so famous. Everywhere we go, it was a big deal, you know.
Yeah.
Best hotels, best festivals. So I could be having, you know, my breakfast in Tokyo. And then the next table would be Herbie Hancock sitting there with Michael Brecker, you know. And so that's all. That's the opportunity. I mean, I feel pretty lucky myself to be in that position because I'm not, as I say, I never went really deep in jazz. Like all the friends of mine, like Cuban guys, they were really. I got a guy, man, that I think I'm gonna send you the name and the info so you can check it out.
Sure.
He also was in Iraquere for a bit, and his name is Mario Felix Hernandez. These guys could play the trumpet like Clifford Brown or Freddie Howard or whatever, and he knew every solo from every CD. He could play even from Freddie Howard and he could play the solo from take 2 and take 3. You know, sometimes they get he could just. So that's how deep they went. You know what I mean with jazz.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine myself, and when I'm talking about Tokyo, for example, jazz festival, there's some videos around on YouTube and all that. And in the middle of that, playing with Michael Brecker beside me, Wallace Ronnie, then Wayne Shorter. And I'm looking myself and saying, what is this, man? What I'm doing here? You know what I mean? What is this? This is insane. It can't be possible.
Yeah.
But of course, I was just doing my Latin stuff. You know, they hired from our band to play with them. And they hired 3 percussionists, the Latin percussionists, and they want to do a jam, like a big jam. So we did, but my English was nothing, was 0. So I'm showing up, standing there. I don't know what to do. And these guys have been touring for a bit. They're playing a Wayne Shorter tune, which is, it could be not easy. Yeah, but they all knew what to do. They all knew what they were doing. No charts, nothing. So I called my manager. Hey, man, I feel terrible here. I don't know. I mean, we're 20-something years old, but I said, I'm here, but I don't know. These guys know what they're doing already. They've been touring, and I don't know. So he asked Wayne Shorter. Man, this is a terrible, terrible story. It's kind of embarrassing. Wayne Shorter showed up later with a piece of music stuff, handwrite the tune. He handwrite the tune for me. So I played the tune. I don't know what the hell I did with that chart. I probably left it on the stand, I just forget about it. I just went, so stupid, man. But, it's part of being ignorance about, let's say Wayne Shorter made it. He's a big name, but for me, it wasn't at that time. Yeah. I was not aware,
And then would you say having that experience, being on stage with those absolute legends, did that sort of motivate you to explore the jazz world a little more?
Of course. Even I'm too bad that I can't remember his name right now. He's a guy from the Scandinavian countries. It's the Phil something I can't remember, but he was using these pedals. So he was playing the trumpet using pedal. Oh, that was the first time I saw that. So where's it coming from? So you open up that also. And then, of course, moving to Canada was the top of the last drop in the glass.
Yeah, exactly.
To do that because you're forced to. You can only make a living just playing one kind of music. You have to. You have to open your mind and do everything. Yeah.
So that touring time, I think usually there's a lot of sort of stress involved in sort of managing that and staying sane when you're traveling constantly all across the world. Do you have any sort of particular experience or advice you have for musicians who are on tour constantly and how to deal with that better?
Yeah, well, it's depends how you do it, right? If you're young, you're not gonna think about it. Yeah, it won't be the same for me. It won't be the same for me touring right now than when I did.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't think about it. I was just happy. I was just young. I could be the whole night out with friends, somewhere else, and then go next day and travel 10 hours in a bus and then play. Doesn't matter. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
When you're getting old, you gotta be careful with all that. You can do it. You can keep up with that. But if you want to be a conscious guys, you want to be, you should take care of it because otherwise you pay after. You know what I mean? Like in my own experience, I had trouble with my embouchure and stuff like that after many years. I have to reset myself and move a little bit to the side to get it better. I couldn't play anymore on this side, kind of thing. I was going like a lot to this side for some reason. I don't know. I didn't notice. By years, your teeth move a little bit too. You move the stuff, so it's complicated, the trumpet. But as a musician in general, take care of yourself. Don't be stupid. But you can say that as an old man that I am right now, right? I'm 46. But when you're young, you just do it, man. You enjoy it. The only thing I can say is enjoy. Be in the place because you want to be in it. You really want to do it. You enjoy it, and of course, you got to practice. You got to be, be on time. Don't be ridiculous. Don't be You know, like you almost lose a flight because you were having a party the night before. No, that's not cool.
Yeah.
That's not. Of course, you know. But enjoy, man. Enjoy. You know, music is something like it's so hard right now to see what's happening in the world with the music. Eh?
Yeah.
I mean, for a lot of people, but in the same way, see how many people have been creators and you know and creating stuff to do and
Exactly. Yeah.
keep going, you know, and
Working around it.
working around. Yeah, and then if you really want to do it, it's something that you know. I have that conversation with a lot of people. Some other friends that have some trouble playing the instrument. Some of them wanted to give up. You know, like I say, okay, no, I think I'm done. I think I'm gonna find another job or whatever. Okay, I just said to the, and I think I hear this from a great concertino player. You know, like a violin player. Sometime in a documentary. Like if you feel yourself like you can do another job, like it's not music, do it. You know what I mean? But if you feel like the only thing you can do is music, then you do it.
Yeah.
If you ever feel like there's something else that you can do for a living, like it's not music, then just go and do that because you're not gonna be in music, you know, as good as you know, like you should be. If you really this is what I want to do, I want to do music, you go for music. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I take that approach.
Yeah, there has to be some sort of serious or implicit drive to do it, or else it's not worth it.
Other way, yeah, other way is just like okay, you're doing it, but oh, you know what I mean? You feel like something else will give you a better life or you enjoy more or whatever. Just go and do that, man. Forget about the music, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
yeah, it's basically it. Yeah.
So we're kind of getting towards the end of the hour, and so we usually like to end off with a question about sort of who your greatest idols musically, artistically are. Like if you want to name some names and talk about certain people in your life, maybe just to.
Yeah. Well, that's so many, man. There's so many. It's hard to put.
Yeah.
Yeah. The least we go on. The least we go on. I learn from everybody, for sure. I enjoy watching people playing around me, and or playing or I'm playing with people, you know, or learning from everybody. It could be a recording, or it could be just playing live. But I can tell you that I got something from everybody. Everybody. Even if I go and teach some kids, you know, like a big band and stuff or whatever, you know, like you learn in that process because you gotta find a way, especially in my English, you know, you gotta find a way how to explain then what do you want to do, and that in that process you gotta learn yourself how do you do it or how do it. So anyway, but musically speaking, and in the trumpet world, I love Freddie Howard for sure.
Mm.
One of my favorites, trumpet, Clifford Brown, of course.
Yeah.
Then you got so many trumpet players, man. So many idols that you can mention. But play it on that way, and I got the chance to play with the old guys in Cuba, like Guajiro Mirabal. It's like he was like my father, right? He was in the trumpet playing and also in the business too. He was the guy who opened doors for me.
Right.
Basically, he gave me the opportunity to play with the Buena Vista and then travel all over the world. So it could be me, it could be there's a lot of 20 trumpet players that play as well, as the same as me, or even better. You know what I mean? Like in Cuba, there's so many, and the competition is really strong because you got to be good to be able to get to the top.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be able to get to the top to travel and to make money outside Cuba. Then Cuba, there's no way to make a living in Cuba just playing. I mean, it's a good job. The music is a great job because you travel, then you make money. You can make more money than a doctor or an engineer or whatever. It's funny. It's crazy. Like music over here is not a job like people will look into it. You know what I mean? Like when I came here, people ask me, "What do you do for a living?" I said, "I play trumpet." No. What do you do for a living? I said, no. What do you do for a living? It's I play trumpet. Jesus.
Yeah.
They couldn't believe, right? They couldn't believe that also I knew how to do or what to do. You know what I mean? So, but well, the question, idols. That's it, man. There's so many, too many,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
too many. I mean, I love all kind of music. I listen to as much as I can
Mm-hmm.
because music is so big, and there's a lot to learn. You never stop. You never stop learning. But my other point is just learn how to play at least a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
All kind of music. If you put me right now to play some funk, I will try to match that and just play funk. If we go and then we go to the jazz and we try to play some traditional jazz, then you play that kind of way. Latin, I won't play the same as playing the funk or playing the jazz. So, and then the concert band, you play classical, and then you have to, it's almost like you are a chameleon, or you change the colors of your skin, like an animal, changing that. You have to change, you know what I mean? And to be able to do that, you need to have some knowledge of each kind of music, at least a little, to be able to. And you can do it by yourself in your house, or you can do it by experience, playing with people. And luckily, that was my way, just doing it, playing up.
Yeah, just through different experiences. And
man, get it. And hopefully, it's not too late. I'm already 46, but still doing it. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Well, Miguelito, thank you so much for taking the time. It's been just a pleasure hearing your entire story. It's so fascinating.
Yes, thank you, man. It's very cool.
Guys, I hope everybody can understand my my accent and all that, but I hope everybody got a good time. I mean, it's funny just to be talking, but it's all good. It's all good. I enjoy it too, and thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely.
We keep in touch anytime. If you have any other questions or you want to talk about anything, you know where to find me now. So it's all good.
Great. Yeah.
Sounds good.
We'll send you this interview when it comes up and let you know about all this stuff and keep you in check with the.
Oh yeah, of course, man. Please. Hopefully we can play together someday. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be great.
All right. Take it easy, man.
Yeah. Take care.
Thank you.
Yeah. Take care.